And we're live. Hi everyone, this is Amateur Gamer, and never returning to ROTK 10. Yeah, that first video was basically an introduction, but we have more tutorials, so let's do it. So yeah, basically within the court, you could go to, speak with the head of the city. You can do diplomacy if you're going to a foreign city. You can join the ranks if you don't have a faction that you belong to. You can solve problems if you're the head of the city. You can rebel. You can take gold from the treasury if you're the head of the city. Or you can meet someone who happened to be in the city. So the one that you circled, the one that's like second from the bottom, it's meat. And then that one's the treasury, where you could get gold. Actually, you could get gold or put your own gold inside. I didn't talk about the top left corner. So it shows the year, the month, the day, the season, and your location. And it has your name. And then the name is the biggest characters. Beside it, it says your regular, so it says your position. That says who you belong to, the amount of gold you have, and your reputation. So gold can be quite useful. And then of course, the most bottom one is exit the facility. And then for other locations, you could actually check to get like information or see if like there are hidden people where you could potentially find people to recruit. And more tutorial. Yeah, this is basically the first one. You have to be part of that city. Like even if you're part of the same faction, you can't go into like the governing hall. And then the second one is diplomacy. So you can improve relationship, recommend alliances, those sort of things. And then the next one is join. You're not always successful, but generally if you don't have a faction, but you have a lot of reputation, you have a good chance of joining. Yeah, if you have good relationship with the ruler of the faction, not like the city, but the faction, or you have capabilities or have good reputation, then you have an easier chance of joining. And the fourth one is solve problems. So what happens is you could invest in certain things and you'll get a return. You might, if you succeed, you might improve the city. If not, you might waste gold. And what happens is on the city screen, I think it's underneath the piece, it will show how many of these, I guess, disputes or problems are. And if you get 10 or above, your piece will slowly go down, so you do need to take care of them. And then gold. Okay, so now we have a meeting. And now we're looking at the map. So right now, Sunji only has this one single city in this area. Actually, this is a good time to talk about maps. So there are all of these powers. So this is Masin and this is Han Tuo, I think. So basically you see the powers. And then this allows you to see. So like here you see like in the middle there's like the two big letters, right? There's the city and there's the faction, and then to the right of it there's like sub factions. So you have the Dudu, like the viceroy. I don't know if that's the right term. So you have the governor of the city, and then you could either have the leader of the faction leading them, or you have someone appointed by the ruler to rule over a region. So yeah, here you have two. Overall, the map shows all the cities, and then there are also these certain locations where you could build forts. What happens is, for example, you see these paths. So armies have to go through the path. And if you have a fort between your city and the enemy, then they have to attack the fort. And if you reinforce the fort, then you're on the defensive. So the odds of you winning is higher, because generally attackers have a disadvantage unless they have overwhelming advantage. And of course, something else you could see is that when you... It looks like it's not quite aligned. So if you look at the box, like on... like not at the very top, but you know, there's a box that has like 4 rows, and you know, there are shapes. Now, so tan is allies, yellow is neutral, so you're not enemies, you're not allies. Red is enemies. So right now, because the yellow turbans are the enemies, our goal is to eliminate them. And then there are also these what do you call it, like you can also have armies that have no cities. Now eventually you will want to settle a city, but you can actually move around, settle somewhere, and then start a new city there, and then go from there. So that's always an option. And then at the top, all of these options, you have disease, locust swarms, tornadoes, earthquake, blizzard, floods, good harvest, and the king or emperor. So you see the emperor is in the city. So I mean, yeah, only in the historical ones. Sometimes the king is moved around. So basically you have a warlord who has command over the emperor, and it doesn't really do much in this game. At least I haven't seen it matter. Of course, once you get to the king, I mean, emperor, you could choose to let him live or take his position. Honestly, usually it's better to let him live, because it will make a lot of people like you, and eventually it gets to the stage where you're so powerful that the emperor will give up his position to you. So, and of course, if you look at, so you'll see like 4 different not like directly bottom right, but slightly upper. Well, okay, let's talk about. So the first one shows factions, and then the second one shows like the power structure. So you might have someone working under a faction leader to help divide up an empire or kingdom. And then this is the region. So you know, certain region are, so this is Zhongyuan, this is Wu Yue, this is Chu, Basu. It doesn't make a lot of difference except for one battle scenario, which I almost never use because it's not fun in my opinion. And then we have more separation. Like these are, I guess, provinces. Actually, wait. Like, the best way I see this is, this one is region and this one's like provinces or states. And then this one is for that specific battle, which I will eventually show, but I don't like it because it's boring. And then above that, it says show, so Wait, what? Okay, yeah, so you can remove the cities. I don't know what you would do. You could remove the location where you could build forts, and you could, yeah, remove the factions that don't have a city, and you can also ignore diplomacy. So you're like, I don't. It's like you haven't memorized who's the ally, who's a friend, but really, eventually everyone's an enemy. Very rarely do I have an ally, but I don't know, maybe it's because I play on lower difficulty. And above that, it shows the different paths. Like there's streets, there's mountain path, there's water path, and there's small path. So certain paths you can travel on foot, but armies have to walk on roads. So yeah, that's about it. I think I covered everything. And you can have up to 8 different like military powers governing, because let's face it, certain regions you don't want to deal with because there's a lot of micromanagement you don't want to do. So basically Sun Jian is saying that we are being protected by He Jing, basically the faction that controls the emperor right now, and that he said we need to repay them. Even though our army is small, but we still have talented officers. Right now we will attack nearby cities. So our task is to target Zhang Jiao, basically attack his forces. So we still need to take 7 more cities to succeed this. So now we need to improve the productivity of the city and recruit and train strong troops. No, I don't have any suggestions. So right now there's, farming, trade, technology, peace, or try to search for talents. I think I just realized, actually let's not bother. Actually all of this is taking way too long. I think I'll turn off the tutorial and hopefully I'll get to everything. So yeah, this is an entire thing in itself. So beside the portrait starting from top bottom, we have faction to the right, our role, and then below what part of sub faction. I mean, we don't have enough cities for that to happen. And then it shows our ranking in government. So this is like rank 7. Rank 1 is the highest, so we have a long way to go. And then it shows the city and how much experience or how much contribution we made. And I actually don't know what that 4 is. So next we have a mission to improve technology. And then we have our reputation, and between reputation and the technology it says we are in the, well, this is prior to performing our mission. So then we have name, gender, leadership, war, intelligence, politics, charisma, and under it says basically injury or illness. So you can actually get injured and all of your stats will go down, and that could happen because you got sick, or maybe during a duel you got wounded. So all of those. And yeah, now we have these special skills. So you have politics, where, like, for example, you see some of them grayed out. So in terms of what we're actually, let's go on this. So what happens is we have experience. We get to a certain amount, like for example, if we get 200 experience in farming, then we can learn how to farm from other people. And what these politics do is whatever, like there's farming, trade, technology, repair, well, it's basically defense, peace, recruitment, and training. So all of these, if you have the ability, you're able to accomplish a lot more. I don't know the exact number, but you could do a lot more with the same amount of gold and time. And if you want to learn these, you need to get the experience. So each time you do technology, which we'll do in a moment, you'll see that the experience will increase. And the same with troops. You have footmen, cavalry, archers, navy, strategy. So if you use strategy or if you raise your morale, you could increase that, and then you can actually learn certain skills. I hate that. Yeah, this is not quite aligned. It's slightly offset, but it's okay. So there's strategy, and then there's also what do you call it? Intel. So if you get enough intel, you could be a spy, and then by being a spy, you're able to do certain things. I mean, there's a lot to talk about. We'll get to it eventually. And then, of course, then it shows number of battles, number of wins, and number of consecutive wins. And then there's actual battles where you fight in armies. There's duels where it's one-on-one and you're using your war stat. And then there's debates, which uses your intelligence, and it's a whole different. So with war, so the first role is politics. The second role is war, where you use like for example with cavalry, you charge the enemy. You can use fire arrows, attack with other enemies that are, attack with allies that are adjacent to an enemy you're adjacent to. There's calm, because maybe they're confused and they need help, or maybe they got tricked. There's raise morale. There's surprise attack, and this one I don't even know what it does. I honestly don't know. And then of course you have these. So that's like basic attacks, or at least combat abilities. Then you have the strategy where you can make the enemy attack each other, and then you can lower enemy movements. You can taunt the enemy so that they will actually target you only, and that will make them do stupid things. Like for example, if you have fog, if they're taunted, they will move, they don't care, and they'll probably run into your forces and get slaughtered. Confuse. If you could confuse the enemy, it's pretty big. And then there's weather, where you could basically change the weather, change the direction of the wind, or do certain things like cast lightning. And then there's, so this is weather. This is like, I can't find the English term right now, but basically you could set traps and that sort of thing. And then there's also build what do you call it, fortresses, which is pretty useful, because I think fortresses are stronger than whatever you can build. And then next one, you have the war. So basically you have all of these different abilities. They do different things. And then next you have the debate. These are debate only skills. And then the next one, you have the ability to command enemies. You could convince other people. And then you're good with naval troops, spy. You're good at drinking. I know there's even that. Actually, what's good about that is like like if you go to the tavern and you have a bunch of people, you could actually invite all of them to drink with you to boost relationship. I don't find it particularly useful, but if you're role playing, I mean, it's great. You could be a doctor where you could, if you're injured or have an illness, you can heal faster and you can help on the battlefield, like I said, recover some of your wounded troops. Or you could be like a mystic. You're able to, like, you can't be caught by guards. It's a very interesting thing. But yeah, like, yeah, and of course, you can also have items. So here we have this item. It's like a serpent spear. It increases our war by 3, which is why we have war plus 3, so we have 86 instead of 83. And of course, as you can see, you could get experience for those, but you have to learn or get special quest. We'll get there eventually. There's way too much. So we went to the blacksmith. We have this option. We could choose how many days. We could choose how much gold we spend. We're given 100 gold, so there's really no point. So let's just do that. So we increase it by 13. I think normally you get 6 or 7. So if you have the ability, you get, yeah, there's more. If you get the ability, you get double your yields. So if we look at experience, we get 9. So as you can imagine, getting to 200, you need to do it a lot. And oh yeah, I forgot. Like here, it says mission. Increase it by 8 points or okay, maybe normally you get 9, 8 or 9. So if you don't, so what you see here is actually like there's a certain attribute it looks at. So this looks at intelligence. If your intelligence is too low, you might not even be able to finish it. And you can't do more than 10 days unless you learn how to do it. So for example, if I didn't learn this technology ability, I can only do it 10 days. I could add more gold, but I can't do longer. So yeah. And if you're sick, yeah, you're gonna struggle. And then of course you have the city where it tells you the region and then the province. Maybe I'm getting that backwards. And then it tells you generally what you see up there. I mean, during the middle, under the gold. So gold we have 27,000. Underneath that it says every season we get a certain amount of gold, and below that it says there's a certain amount that we give out. And then to the right of that we have 140,000 food, and it says how much food we get every year and how much food we use up every month. Generally you don't have to pay attention, you just have to look, and if you don't have enough, your food will be in red. So that's a good warning, because I would hate to do that much math. And of course, at the bottom left, you see the numbers, right? 820, 600, 513. And then you see to the right of that, we have numbers. Those are our targets. We're trying to get 882 in farming, 662 in trade, 561 in technology, 4,800 in defense. And of course, for peace, we want ideally as high as possible. Actually, I don't think peace is the right term. Safety? You get the idea. But yeah, what happens is, like, once you're higher up, you're able to set goals, and you can focus on one specifically over the others. Here, I think it's a balance. And to the right of that, below the number of gold we spend, each month. You see the footman training facility, and then below that, if we become large, we get an anti-flood facility, and below that we have, I actually have no idea what that is. Actually, I think that's a hospital. Maybe. And then to the right of that, some cities have produced a certain good. It doesn't matter unless we have certain quests from the tavern. Yes, you could get personal quests from the tavern. Below that, it might show if, there's a battle. And below that, there's like these armies that have no cities, or belong to factions that have no cities. And below that, there's disasters, there's disease, locust, tornado. I talked about it. And then, of course, if you look down, you have troops. So right now we have 7,000 foot soldiers, 7,000 archers, and 2,026 horsemen. And as you can see, their experience is limited 84, 30, 90. And then morale 100, 30, 122. The cavalry is low because it's newly recruited, so you do need to train them. And then you can also see the different officers. And then this guy just has no faction. And sometimes if they have no faction, they might have their own army. So let's say if we recruit him, we will get foot soldiers of 3,000, and they will have this much experience and morale. Yeah, there's so much to talk about. I could probably spend like 20-30 videos just talking about the intricacies, but we won't. So anyways, I'm done this. I go back to court and report. Yes. And then I have the option of training. So now I go to barracks. So this top part is you could find talents. Now whether or not they will join you is a different matter, but you have a chance. And of course, to the right we have all of these other officers. We could talk to them, and our relationship could improve. We could know each other. We could be, sometimes they're busy so they don't want to talk, but sometimes you can become best friend. And if you do it enough, you could actually be like sworn brothers with other people. So right now we have farming, trade. We could recruit more troops, or we could train them. Now you see that, right? Like recruiting and training are different, and if we could, just improve relationships. Sometimes they say I don't have time. So the first level is like you know each other, right? And then now it's like friendly. Yeah, friendly. After friendly, you have trusting. So right now, just before we don't want anything. This one is give 1,000 gold to a certain faction to improve relationship. I'm not going to do that because it's too far away, and it's just a pain. And sometimes they're like, I don't have time to talk. This is trustworthy. Yeah, that was trustworthy. So after trustworthy, you have like close, confidant. And what happens is, as you can see here, so my contribution before was 3,000. After doing some, I get a certain amount, and it says I have 2,594 more contribution before I become rank 6, and then rank 5. It requires more and more. Though I don't know why we would. Let's see if I could yeah. So what happens is when you're trust, someone finds you trustworthy, you're able to learn from them, but it does require like your attributes to be a certain amount apart. So for example, I could learn leadership, war, strategy, politics, and debate. And what happens is, let's say I'm learning, let's say I get enough experience for one of the duels. So I would learn war from him, and eventually he'll say, "Do you want to learn the skill?" And I'll be like, "Yes." And then you have to beat them. The same with debates. And if you beat them, you'll be able to learn it. Everything else, as long as they have it, you keep trying. They'll just teach it to you. So yeah, this is close. Yeah, there's so much to talk about. So now we're summer, and even the leader of the faction could get certain ranks. And here you see the gold, right? We gained 6,374, and then we paid 1150 for the officers. So the officers had to get paid, and then we also gave a certain amount to the emperor, so that's 836. And there's nothing else. Sometimes there are special events like disasters or good harvest. So the reason why whoops, I selected the wrong one. The reason why I'm improving the troops is because actually I should have stopped. It's okay. We might see the opportunity. Yeah, so right now there's farming, trade, defense, and there's training. There might be one I want to roleplay or try to get all the skills. So yeah. So right now the last choice is recruit a certain person. So sometimes this person might be in your city. Actually, let's do it. So he's in our city, and we try to recruit. So this is fail, but if we try, it might work, right? Since we're in the tavern, so in the tavern you could actually have these different quests. They give a certain amount of reputation, certain amount of gold, and increase a certain give you experience in certain things. So whoops, I went too quickly. This is, let me think about it. So it means they're getting close to be like, alright. And so then you just have to keep going. But if you don't want to waste time, you can actually alright, if you have this trait, you could actually convince them. I think you could convince them to join your faction through a debate. You don't have to. Like for this, you could just say, "Oh, I failed." You just go back to court and be done with it. But I just want to, it's not always easy. Like this doesn't matter as much. And then of course he left. So this is the city view. World view. Wow, he is very hard to convince. I'm not trying to play optimally, And plus, one thing you gotta remember is that, you know, it doesn't matter as much if you are not, like, if you have your own city, then at least the person you recruit will help you out. But otherwise, okay, let's spend. And there are these special people who are able to teach certain skills and such, but they're really hard to meet. And of course, you can also give things to other people to improve. Okay, this will be the last day. Yeah, no. So this is the world view. You can basically move around. Sometimes there are bandits and you could fight them, you could debate them, you could get them gold, bribe them to leave. So we failed, and then let's keep focusing on military, because the sooner we get our military going. So now it's fall. I know time passes. So it says the following cities had disease. These are, yeah, so it highlights these 3 cities. And then it says these 3 cities have good harvests, so that means they get more food. Yeah, every fall you get amount of, and here's the same. But you also look at how much food you get. And then let's, oh, I forgot to, sorry, sometimes it's just habit where I just go through everything. So you can also get quests where, you know, you ruin the enemy defenses to soften up. It doesn't accomplish much unless you have, yeah, like for example, this last one is basically lower the enemy order. Right, order is the right word. Lower their order so that they'll, you know, they'll be more likely to have rebels spawn. I don't find those particularly useful. And then this one is to get intel. So if you're a spy, what happens is if you succeed, you put a spy in the city, so you constantly get it until that spy is found. Otherwise, you get like 30 or 60 days. And right now, if you look at our troops, we have 60,000, 5 out of the 9. We're definitely getting there. And the reason why I do this is because keep this up and we'll have war. Like I play quite a bit, and I feel like this is a good starting point. So yeah, the most you get is 10,000. Apparently he wants us to recruit. So this guy has like southern, I just call it southern troops. 8,000. Oh yeah, and if you don't have room, like if we have 10, you know, something out of 10, then we won't, like, even if we recruit the officer, we wouldn't get the units. So it's something to keep in mind. Actually, let's do this. So this is, you know, get intel. Now we are not spies, so what happens is our intel. So this is saying the disease ended. So when the enemy is hostile, like we go into a hostile city, the guards won't let us through. So we could bribe them or we could fight them. We have enough war that we can fight them. And sometimes if you're high enough, it just automatically decides it so that we just win. So you get 1 win. And for those of you wondering, I just speak of which, for, right, so what's different about, so these are experience, right? For duels, it looks at, you know, how many wins. It says, you know, you might have to win 10 straight to get this, or win 30 straight to win it, or win a total of 10, and the same for debate. So they have a bit of different, and some of them needs like different ones. Like here you need strategy and intel. Here is technology and strategy, and then here is just reputation, but you do need one of those special characters to help you unlock it. So you go to their constabulary, and then you perform it, and it should show. Yeah, okay, 6 months. You could try to recruit enemy officers, but if they say no, they'll probably call the guards. So basically now we're attacking. You just have troops, and then we only control our own troop. Oh shoot, that is bad. Alright, there are no movements. It feels so weird. That's not very nice. So I'm trying to challenge him to a duel. And I'm using fire arrows. So they do look at and plus if they reject duels, they lose some of their. So here it shows the order of your troops. Now this uses up 20, and it ends your turn if you fail. Wait, does it? No. So enemy reinforcements have arrived. We might not win this because our composition is horrible. Yeah, our composition is awful. So I'm holding down the mouse, it speeds up the movement. Let's do some damage. It's already day 10. We're a third way through. And this is what happens when the AI do stupid things. Wait. Oh, there they are. I mean, we're making good progress, so it's not terrible. And because it's raining, I can't use fire arrows. I don't know if we will. Okay, yeah. So with fire things, there's always a chance of a fire starting. Yeah, actually we will get through. Just through brute force, because apparently. So still no fire. So depending on how much you contributed to the battle, you will get ranked. So Huang Gai, the officer controlling the horsemen. So here it says we got through the outer walls. The governor gave up the city. So we're victorious. I actually don't know what higher difficulty would do. Would they make better decisions? Yeah, I actually don't know. So as you can see, you know, Huang Gai got has done the most. I've done second. And we capture someone. And we release them. You could kill them, but I mean you can. So even winning wars, it gets you political contributions. And you can suggest certain tasks. And what happens is, I don't think we have a governor in that other city. So right now we have no governor. It does have an army of some sort. Oh yeah, and you have to be... And now you see missions, quests that involves the other city. I would rather not go all the way there. Like if I don't get what I want, I'll... I don't think we'll see any other battles. So as you can see, the battle is not super complicated. I mean, some people might find it boring, right? If you play something like Total War Next Spring. If you play Total War, yeah, this is boring. More disease. And at the start of every year, they will look at how much contribution you made. And then you get the highest. The least you get is compliment. But the most you get is you actually get extra gold. So that's not necessarily a bad thing. So you need to take 6 more cities. I don't have any suggestions. I don't want to go, so sometimes they'll say no. It's like, no, I don't want this done. But it doesn't hurt to try. Because if you need to go to another city, it really slows things down. Let's get foot soldiers. So generally you want a combination. Because for example, in the last battle, yes, cavalry was the best choice. Because they were able to brute force. So as you can see, sometimes he says, no, we don't need that. And I just try. And sometimes they say yes, and sometimes you'll misclick. Actually, I misclick quite often. The single days can matter. That's why generally you want to rule yourself, because then you don't have to. Okay, so that was saying, they set up a fort there. Fort cost gold. And now we got enough to be rank 6. I mean, maybe we'll see more combat this game. Probably not. Like, for me, I don't see any point in strengthening defenses of a secondary city because ultimately without officers defending it is not very useful. So sometimes you might not get what you want and you're like, wow, I don't feel like going there. Summer. So time could pass pretty quickly. And then of course certain things like training, you need 200 experience. Oh yeah, speaking of which, have you noticed that I got a ton? So when you train units you get experience, but when you fight, so I was fighting with archer unit, that's why I got a lot of experience from that. So there are more ways. And then there are missions to, you know, go and see if you could find any talents. They don't necessarily. Actually, what's our troop composition? Ooh, we need some cavalry. And also note that generally they give you just enough gold to make it work. So there are 3 levels of forts. As you can imagine, they get stronger and stronger. Yeah, without the, I mean, like, the special effects are nice, but I also heard it in my first video and it sounds horrible. Yeah, the sooner we get our troop counts up. See, the thing is, like, if you want historical, you should read the book, because it's really hard for the game to follow historically. It's really tough. I mean, it will try, but there will be something that changed, right? I don't know. Like, for example, if a certain city is taken. So right now you see there's a battle going on there. At the site where the fort is being built. Because you don't want the enemy to build forts wherever they want, because it's... Actually, let's try that. I want to... So he said yes, and then you succeed, you get reputation. And suddenly we have the army that he has, which is this. This is a much weaker footman, but it has more movements. And I think it's cheaper to work with. I think. The question is, will we attack? So like I said, so this is a locust. Yeah, locust. Good harvest. Like, it will go historical as long as certain things haven't changed. But, you know, if someone takes a city when they shouldn't have, it quickly becomes ahistorical. So if you want historical, good luck, because there are too many factors that you don't have control over. So here it's like destroy their walls. So what happens is, you know, as the leader of the faction, you can give orders for cities that don't have any governors, but if they do, you can't give orders for those. Let's keep training. Oh yeah, speaking of which, yeah, there's a lot of things. I'll eventually get to them. So, yeah, there's also loyalty. So this guy, newly recruited, he's not the most loyal, but yeah, you get the idea. Okay, now we are going to attack another city. Oh, great. I got Zombo. Okay, so these are heavy footmen. They have better stats overall. Generally pretty good. Let's start here. Yeah, archer is not what I had in mind. So when you're on the walls, you could throw stones, which doesn't do much other than lower morale. So I'm hoping to climb the walls. See, the problem is archers don't have a lot of movements. Or at least they require more movements to get around. Yeah, as you can see, for this, we're not making a lot of progress. And you can't scale walls from the water. Though, to be fair, it doesn't make much sense if you could. So the enemy have reinforcements. I think we're gonna lose this. Or at least there's a very good chance. Now, we need something of a miracle in this case. So, yeah, my arrows don't do a lot. I guess the only blessing is that the walls aren't terribly like, well, they don't have a ton of hit points. So hopefully I could force him into a duel. So they won't always agree, but if they agree and you defeat them, you eliminate their forces. So if they have like 10,000 troops. Okay, ooh, how do I describe this? So you have all of these abilities. You see one. You could select them individually. You could withdraw, you could defend, you could run. And you have these special abilities that so let's see. So for example, I could withdraw and you know, it's a bit of a mind game. You don't quite know I don't. So what happens is usually you get 3, like you have a certain combination. You could, you know, perform certain skills, but that isn't always possible. Yeah, this guy is actually pretty bad when it comes to these duels because what he possesses are let's do that. Like, I've taken a lot of damage. Well, I guess to be fair, my war isn't that high to begin with. Yeah, starting fires are usually a pretty good idea. And you can put out fires. I mean, it uses up. Yeah, now the fire spreading. But it's also raining, so I don't see that accomplishing much. So you could perform more duels if you want to. Yeah, that's confusion. So now that unit can't do anything. And sadly, the AI do some really stupid things. And I realized I did something really stupid. Yeah, sometimes I still move too quickly. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna succeed here. So as you can see, I have 44 health. He probably will agree. So your health stays low, but that's probably what makes him think he can win. Wow, I have like nothing to work with. I might lose here, so. There's a very good chance, yeah. My only blessing is that he's not doing that much damage. But it doesn't take much. Ooh, that is much needed. If I could win this, that'd be great. Ooh, I won. So you also get reputation by defeating the enemy. And let's start some fires. Yeah, they do these stupid things where, you know, like they have troops that are depleted and they keep them there. So as you can see, fire arrows do take more. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna win this. It's a shame, but oh yeah, and if you're on walls, you're safe from the fire. So start all the fire you want. So here you can see I could throw rocks, but they're not that effective, so I won't bother. Yeah, the fire's not. I mean, the fire is spreading. Yeah, we are not going to win this. The AI is. I mean, I've done what I could, but actually there is a chance. So I could do command. Give them my movements. The problem was they weren't in a position like this earlier. Yeah, when you get burned, you could get wounded, and that's about it. It's already 22 days. Yeah, we're not going to break through. We want to, but it just ain't going to happen. So that's taunt. But if you attack the enemy, then the taunt wears off. Let's see. So we broke through the gate, but it's already day 23. Okay, so what's good about taunt is, you know, in the fog they could. I mean, I can't really do much. See, if I had a cavalry, I will approach things differently. It's already day 25. Huh. Okay. Throw stones. I don't think. Yeah, it does too little damage. Yeah, look at all the fires. I can't do it anymore. That's the problem. Yeah, we were doomed from the start. Like the... Oh. It's already day 28. I mean, we're trying, but... Okay, got rid of that. I mean, there's no point. And sadly, when the forces you join lose, it also counts for you, so... Yeah, life sucks. Sorry about the break in the episode. I got interrupted. But yeah, as of this moment, I don't think there's much I can do. Wait. Maybe he'll be dumb enough to. Yeah, without the sound effects, it's kind of weird. Yeah, it's 30 days, and then you'll see defeat. We were just not ready. So yeah, basically, when you lose, the officers you capture, you can't see if they want to join you. I mean, I still got a lot. And of course, you also have to walk. Wait. Oh, because we're attacking, that city is vulnerable, and then they use this opportunity to target the city. The only downside... Oh! Where... Shoot. See, the problem is you can't save. Are you kidding? This is horrible. To be honest, we might be able to win this if I could just play out my duels a bit better, but apparently my character is really bad when it comes to duels. Now, those heavy infantry might come towards me. I'm hoping they would. Yeah, the taunt is really good because it gets some of your enemies out of the safety of the walls, and that's a very convenient thing to have. How? Let's first take that out. Take them out. How are they able to reinforce that quickly? Oh, I know, this is... If you could set gates on fire, it actually does damage to gates as well, so that's normally a pretty good thing to have. Yeah, this video is gonna be longer than I would have preferred. It wasn't my intention. I didn't expect. Oh, okay, it's a different group that has... Yeah, we're doing a bit better this time. That wasn't very nice. I think I should be able to. Perfect. That will allow me to achieve the most in the shortest amount of time. Like if you could get duels and eliminate them. And of course it's not off to a great start. Yeah, not a great start. I can barely touch this guy. I mean, there are definitely certain ways to approach it. But yeah, this... Sadly, the officer I picked just lacked too many good tools. Let's just put it that way. Okay, I still have quite a bit of health. And we eliminated a pretty big portion of their... I mean, it actually helped even out the situation. Oh yeah, speaking of which, so when you have wounded troops... So yeah, he has the healing, which is very helpful. So there are also these farms. If you have wounded troops and you go on farms, it's actually very helpful. Yeah, fog is actually not very helpful. Ooh, perfect. That wasn't very nice. Yeah, for me, fog is not the best thing to... I don't think he'll accept this. Whoa, really? I'm a bit shocked. I mean, yes, I'm a bit wounded, but... So sometimes if you have like an overwhelming advantage, you could actually like finish them off in one go as opposed to needing to wait. I'm not like great at these duels. I usually do well because, to put it simply, I usually use... I don't think I took any... I usually use pretty OP dueling. So right now... Yeah, see there... He's healing whatever he can, but... There's only so much you can do. And as you can see, with range attacks, you can actually... And sometimes you could capture enemy forces if... Good, start a fire, and he's wounded. Ooh, that is not good. Like, I'm trying my best, but my allies aren't doing enough. Like, there's lightly wounded and heavily wounded. If you could get heavily wounded, that's huge. That is bad. They get heavily... Like, when I have... I mean, as you can imagine, if they're heavily wounded, they are going to take a... Their stats are going to be even worse. Let's support... Ooh, that is wonderful. I just don't know if we have enough time. that's the biggest thing. I mean, we already started a fire, so normal arrows is actually the most effective. 20 days. Yeah, finish that off. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's lightning. When you can control... I actually want to win this time, so... let's try to do that. Yeah, too bad can't start fires in this weather. So I think if I give command, he actually gets the contribution. But I just want to win, so... okay, they gave up on the city, so we won. Yeah, sometimes you can do that. Like, yes, you lost, but your forces are still relatively strong, and you find an opening. You do that. Wow, I barely. So we released them. One of them decided to join us. Ooh, 723. Alright, now I am going to end this. Are you kidding? Okay. Oh, this is historical. Zhangjiao just passed away by disease. He's basically saying that, you know, even the heavens, you know, he even angered the heavens. That's why he's dead. Now the yellow turbans are done for. Yeah. Hearing that Zhangjiao died, He Jing, which is the most powerful faction, attacked. And without Zhangjiao, the yellow turbans lost their ability to rally and were wiped out. And the current government survived. But each warlord are becoming stronger and stronger, so the chance of chaos is more likely. And let's actually save. Oh man, I was like, wait, what? War again? But at least we succeeded. Huh. Yeah, I don't know how historical this will become. Oh, okay, I see what's happened. So what happened was that the governor here decided to attack Shicang right here. And the previously forces that were reinforcing here were, I guess, fighting them. And meanwhile, we attacked here. The reinforcements came from Nanpi, I think. Or maybe it's Pingyuan. One of these. And maybe they just lost too much. I mean, I'm guessing if I... yeah. So now... so the person who just surrendered to us became the governor. And as for taking empty cities, yeah, it's just a simple... You just need enough numbers and you can get it. It's not hard. I'm almost... so he went from this city to the other city. I guess I'm not ending this anytime soon. So basically, this is saying you helped us against. Well, the government says you helped us against the Yellow Turbans. Now we will give you territory and. We'll give you territory and. So he will become the head of another. See, if I remember correctly, I think Sun Jian wasn't even a governor. Like, he wasn't head of a city. He just happened to be in the city and he was able to rally troops to fight them. Like he didn't have any political base to begin with. So now he goes to Changsa. And this is saying that following this, as warlords, like, there are lots of new warlords because they're given new power. And because of this, the government becomes weaker. And we are leaving here because we're heading to I should probably end it before something else happens. But looking at the new map, yeah, this is the new change. Right, there's a new government here. And then we have Liu Bei went to Pingyuan. No, he didn't crush anyone. So right now, He Jing is kind of in chaos. We have Yuan Shao, Gong Shenzhen. Yeah, this is like how the right. So basically, you know, the map has been redrawn. So you have all of these new powers in position. And I have no idea how this would develop. Liu Biao, yeah. I mean, historically, Sun Jian died to Liu Biao. So there was like a big rivalry. But anyways, I'm going to end the video here because I don't want to find out if there are any other surprises. So thank you everyone for watching, and I hope you have a good one. Bye.